Today's video is for all you walkers and hikers, casual bikers, and competitive cyclists, because we're going to talk about living on the Capitol Trail, along with the adjoining Greensprings and Powhatan Creek trails right here in Williamsburg, Virginia. These are really near and dear to my heart, and I can't wait to share them with you, so stick around. Okay, we're going to jump over to the computer where I'm going to show you on a map where the trails are, tell you everything about them. Then we're going to go into the neighborhoods that surround the trails so you can see what the housing is like in this area, see where you could have immediate access to the trails, where you might have to get on a bike and kind of go a little bit, and just show you what living here in this part of the Jamestown area of Williamsburg is really like. All right, let's go to the computer. Alrighty, we've made our way over to the map, and we are going to get into the trail system here in a second. But if you visited the area, you've probably been to Colonial Williamsburg, which is right here, and then of course you have William and Mary campus here. And if you did visit and you did Colonial Williamsburg stuff, you probably headed down Jamestown Road or Route 31, whichever you want to call it, and you've been down possibly to Jamestown Island, Jamestown Settlement, and done the Jamestown Museum and the other things that you can do here at Jamestown. But this video isn't about the historic aspect necessarily. This is about these green lines that you see right here. These green solid lines and these little dotted lines. This is what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to be talking about the Virginia Capitol Trail, the Powhatan Creek Trail, and the Greensprings Trails, and we're going to go over just all the rules about them, everything that I know and love about them. And then once we've done that, we're going to get into each one of these neighborhoods that have immediate access to the trails. So if you want to live right here on the trail system, you want to be able to hop on your bike and get on the trails, you want to be able to just go for a run, walk your dogs, and enjoy this amazing trail system, then you're going to need to know about the different neighborhoods. So we're going to spend not very long in each one, probably 30 seconds to 2 minutes, in talking about each neighborhood, give you a little feel for each one. And then when you go down into the description, I will have a link in there so that you can see homes that are for sale in all of these neighborhoods. So if you are interested in looking at home, you're going to be able to go right down into that link, see what's currently active in all of these neighborhoods. And the great news is it's going to be a variety of housing. So really should be able to find anything that you're looking for the most part in these neighborhoods. So, all right, let's talk about the big one. Let's start with the Virginia Capitol Trail. So that is a 51-mile bike trail that starts here in Jamestown and goes all the way to Richmond. And that's going to make it one of the longest dedicated bike trails on the East Coast. So that's going to start right down here. This is your 0-mile marker right here, and then across the little road here, you're going to have parking. So this is, you've got the Jamestown Settlement Museum here, and so all of this parking is available for anybody who wants to hop on their bike and get right on the Capitol Trail. And then this trail, it's going to start here, goes across the street, and then it just keeps going, hits Route 5, takes a left, and just keeps on going. So it goes over the Chickahominy, goes through these are mostly small scenic towns, a lot of farm country. You're going to be going through a lot of cornfields, heading on through the trail, and it's eventually going to bring you all the way up. You can even see it when we zoom in a little here, still see that dark green line, and it's going to bring you up to Richmond, where it is eventually going to end right here. So this is your official end right here in Richmond. So, depending on what you want to do, there are people that absolutely do the whole trail in a day. They go up to Richmond, go out to lunch, go to a couple of breweries, get back on the trail and come all the way back. That's a little too much for me these days, but it's pretty great. You have complete access to Richmond. Again, 51 miles of dedicated trail. So, and the great thing about the trail is you don't have to be a hardcore cyclist to be on it. It is perfectly, it's amazing if you are a very strong cyclist, but also the trail is going to have just people out walking their dogs, taking their families going on a walk with their families. You're going to have kids on bikes, so it's everybody. It is a trail for everyone. So never feel like you can't go enjoy this trail if you're just on a cruiser and you just want to get out and go bike for 10 or 15 minutes and go back home. So it really is a trail that's designed for everyone. Now, one of the big things that's come up the last few years have been e-bikes. So I'll put a link to the full e-bike policy in the description. But basically, the long story short is there are 3 types of e-bikes. Types 1 and 2 are allowed, and those are bikes that are going to keep you under 20 miles per hour because that is the speed limit on the trail. I'm sure there are some competitive cyclists out there that can go faster than that, but for the e-bike users, they don't want you going more than 20 miles an hour on the trail. At that point, just because there are so many kids and dogs and all that kind of stuff, they feel like it could be potentially dangerous. So just know that if you have, and of course there are no 4-wheelers allowed. You can have the trikes though, and I saw someone on an e-trike the other day. That was cool. So you can use those. You can't be on a dirt bike, like a motorized dirt bike or anything like that. So you can have e-bikes and any kind of regular bike or trike, but no 4-wheel vehicles are allowed. So, but that is going to start right here. It is a beautiful scenic drive. So then, ride, not drive, obviously. So then, all right, let's talk about the Powhatan Creek Trail. So I'm on a Map My Run website right now, and this is going to start right here. So it connects to the Capitol Trail here, and you can start and you can do here, and you can go all the way to Clara Byrd Baker Elementary School. So that is one of the cool things, is that we have multiple schools that are accessible by the trails. So people will actually just get out in the morning and they'll walk with their kids, if you're close by, to the elementary school. And they even have days that are dedicated to all the families walking together to the school system. So it's pretty cool. This is going to run a total of 2 miles. All the way from the Capitol Trail. And now, so this part, the Powhatan Creek Trail, this is still paved. So it's still all the same rules that for the Capitol Trail that apply to this. The only difference is that you're going to see more kids on scooters and other smaller devices that aren't bicycles. So skateboards, stuff like that. Because these really are where, a lot of the neighborhood people will go for a walk. So this is a really cool spot because it is kind of all marshland through here, and it's all wooded and it's all very shaded. So that's one of the things I love about it, is that even on our hot Virginia days, by the time the sun starts to set, the trees have provided ample shade. You're not just baking in the sun, so you can really get out on this trail kind of any time for a walk or a run, and you're not just going to be cooking in the sun. The only time you will be is this stretch right here. There's a huge field here, and the sun will be over here, and it'll get you for a minute or two. But other than that, this is all wooded. This is a really fun bridge right here. There's water that runs beneath that. It's really fun to kind of stop and look over, and then it's going to keep going all the way to the elementary school. So one thing to note about here, during the day when school is in session, there is a stopping point that you're not allowed past at the elementary school. It keeps you about maybe 50 to 100 yards shy of the school grounds. That was implemented in the last year or so, really just out of precaution to make sure there aren't people using the trail to enter the schoolyard. But during non-school hours, you can park here and access the trail from the school system. So, and if you live nearby, it's a great spot to, walk. You can walk with the kids or ride the bike, and you can just go use the playground here at the elementary school, which is pretty great. So, it's one of the great things about the trail is, it's so family friendly, and you're just going to, especially, on the weekends, you're going to see so many families out there, and you see kids using it to access when go to ride to their friends' houses and stuff like that. So it really is very cool, and I love the accessibility to the school system. So really fun trail right there. So let's clear that out, and then let's talk about these dotted lines right here. So The dotted lines are the Greensprings Trails. And so you can see that right here. And the Greensprings Trails they're hard-packed sand and gravel, so they're no longer paved, and that means that bikes aren't allowed on them. And the big thing with these is, one things I like, and as you get a little older, a lot softer on your joints. But again, all of this is mostly wooded and shaded, so you're going to be in you're going to just be able to be out there all year long without having to worry too much. And you can start here, kind of walk here, and then you hit the Capitol Trail again. And right here is an amazing bridge where you're going to see tons of bird watchers and photographers and people like that looking out over the marsh, where you're going to see all sorts of wildlife. And we'll talk all about the different wildlife here in a second. And you can take it down and you can do the big loop all the way back down and around. I think it's about 2.61 miles for the big loop. And then if you back off a bit, you can do this smaller loop too. And I guess it depends from which direction you come from, but that's little like 1.85 miles, 1.84. So you can do a smaller loop too, which is great. And then this has this overpass, this bridge right here, which has a couple of overlooks that they've carved out. So you just have these gorgeous scenic views where you can see tons of nature, and it's so beautiful. I love it. And so when I walk my dogs, most nights I do a loop that includes coming through here, and we always stop and look, and if I go this way, we always stop and look, and it's great, and they're just, I want to talk about all the wildlife. So let's get into that a little bit. I've had nights where I've been on this trail and just been surrounded by deer on all sides, or I've been on this little bridge and there have been deer over there. Herons are really common. So, there's a really strong chance to see a heron here, or I saw some egrets recently that have been beautiful. And then right here is a place where you can actually stop and see there are owls. There's a family of owls that live here and another one that live down over here, and they're just into the woods. So a lot of times they're perching on the trees 10 feet off the trail. It's so cool. It's so great to see those animals right there. So in addition to the blue herons, I've also seen green herons, which I didn't even know was a bird until I took a photo of it and put it on the internet to figure out what it was. I think I asked ChatGPT what it was. And so you're going to have the herons, you're going to have the deer, the owls. Now, of course, with the marsh being there, you're going to get a lot of turtles and ducks, especially like they're in the springtime, you get the families of little ducks. I'm doing this in early June, and they're just starting to kind of get bigger. They're probably teenagers right now, still haven't left mama. Same thing with the Canada geese, and you're going to see little baby geese running, swimming around. It's just so cute. But then you're also going to get other stuff like snakes. So you'll be, walking through the trails and you'll see a big black snake just go slithering off, or you look in the water and there'll be one swimming around. Same thing with muskrats. So I don't think I've seen a beaver yet, but I have seen a couple muskrats, kind of similar animal with a thinner tail, but then just all sorts of other fun stuff in terms of like bees and butterflies, giant millipedes, which I had never seen before. But here on the trail, you're going to get these big, long, purple millipedes that are super creepy. So just so much wildlife to enjoy, and it never gets old. It doesn't matter. I think if you enjoy wildlife at all, you will love it, because every night is going to be different. You're going to see different things. The other day I was walking with a friend and we were probably 5 feet away from a deer. Other times we've seen, the herons from 12 feet away. It's incredible. And so and depending on which way you go every night, it can make for a different experience. So between all of these, you're going to get all sorts of fun nature. You're going to see tons of birders and photographers in the area. And you're also going to get some history too, because if you're on the Powhatan Creek Trail, when you come around here, you are going to hit a space here that's called the Church on the Main. This is a historic site that was the church for the people of the Jamestown area from about 1750s through the 1770s, and then it started going in disrepair, and it was basically gone by the mid 1800s. But the foundational corners are still there, and there's a couple of tombstones and some other really fun things. So you have this amazing piece of American history just kind of built right into the trail system and right into the neighborhood. So really cool to have that piece. I think a lot of people who move to this area really appreciate the historic aspect of living in Williamsburg. So to have that right out your back door, super cool. And just another reason why this trail system is so great. All right, so that's the trail system. And next, I want to start just getting into all the housing. And we are going to start off over down by Jamestown, and then we're going to work our way all the way around and up through until we've kind of hit the Chickahominy, and show you every single neighborhood that has immediate access to this trail system in the area. Okay, now that we've talked about the trails, I also just, before we get to the houses, I have to mention a couple of other things to do here while you're on your bike and everything. You can get down here to one of the best breweries in Williamsburg, and that's Billsburg Brewery. So Billsburg is fantastic. It's right here on the marina, has a ton of indoor and a whole lot of outdoor seating. It's really beautiful. I play cornhole here, so there are cornhole leagues here, food trucks, and it's not just beer. They also do some great little mixed drinks and stuff here too. So fantastic brewery here at Billsburg, one of my absolute favorites. And there's another up the road here called Frothy Moon that's right up here, and it's not accessible on the bike trail though. So I really wouldn't recommend cycling on Jamestown Road. It is pretty narrow. So, could you do it? Sure. It's not very far, but it's not recommended. It's not part of the trail system, but another brewery right there. And then I can't believe I didn't mention this earlier. So right here, when you come up off of the Capitol Trail, is one of my favorite little places on earth, and this is Spoke and Art. And so Spoke and Art is a combination convenience store. They sell local art. It is designed for cyclists to stop off. You can grab a beer or a wine. They do breakfast. They have fantastic breakfast sandwiches and danishes. You can do, then they do lunch and fantastic sandwiches. So you can come and you can hang out here, have a cup of coffee. On the weekends, they do concerts here, so you can come watch a local singer perform, have a beer, stop off on your bike ride. It is really a special little place. I absolutely love it. I meant for it to be one of the first things I mentioned and somehow skipped right over it, because every Sunday morning I walk my dogs there, and we grab a tea and an iced tea and a breakfast sandwich or something, and then we hike back on home. So it's it's one of my favorite parts of my routine for living in this area, and I hope you get a chance to experience it as well. So just a great little, because there isn't really anything else in this area that's like that. So just a fun little thing to have right there. So yeah, those two things, it's great. You go in one direction, depending on where you live, maybe one direction to head to Billsburg, the other direction to Spoke and Art. And you've got couple of cool little local spots right there. So, all right. Let's do it. Let's get into these neighborhoods. So what I want to do is I'm going to start close to Jamestown Settlement, and then we're going to work our way through, and we're just going to go in kind of progressive order of the neighborhoods. We're not going to go in price order or anything like that, because we're going to start here, and then we're going to finish up. The neighborhood will finish up last as Governor's Land, which is one of the premier luxury neighborhoods in all of Hampton Roads. But we're going to start right here at Mason Park. Mason Park, cute little, it's only 16 homes built in 2021. So these are just a few years old, and they're going to be between 2,000 and 3,000 square feet. Very unique little neighborhood, because we don't have other single family homes in the area that are this close together. And it's also a little odd that this builder, H.H. Hunt, so they're a regional builder. They build large neighborhoods. They usually don't build little little subdivisions like this. So to have them come and build this great little spot here, very unique for the area. You're not going to have a big yard or anything like that. But yeah, it's a great little neighborhood, and right here, this part of the Capitol Trail actually does extend up past this. This is kind of an access road just for these neighborhoods here, and so you can hop on your bike and get right on the Capitol Trail from here, and then of course that'll bring you to the rest of the trail system, or you could even kind of work your way across the street to the Powhatan Creek Trail or the Greensprings Trail if you wanted to walk it over. So pretty cool, and this access road isn't traveled a whole lot, so nice and easy to get in and out of here. And then next door to that, we're going to have Landfall. And so Landfall at Jamestown is a beautiful neighborhood. Certainly, getting up into those luxury prices. Starting point here is around $700,000, and it's just going to go up from there. And here you're looking at homes that are going to range from about 2,500 up to 6,700 square feet. It's not a huge community. It's about 90 homes, but really, really nice, beautiful neighborhood. You have the original section here, and now they're finishing up on the backside here. And of course, you can see you've got some waterfront homes. So those are going to be certainly, well over $1 million for those back there. And you've got some access to the river here, and you've got a couple of amenities. They've kind of got a parking lot / basketball court and some tennis courts here. But this is a beautiful, beautiful neighborhood. They started building it in 1998 and are still building. So if you want to be really close to Jamestown, and you're in more of a luxury price point, this could be a phenomenal option for you. And the one thing I'll say is, even with all the people that come and go from Jamestown, I don't think I've ever seen anyone turn down this road before. That didn't live there. This is almost like a hidden neighborhood. People don't even seem to know it's there. So they just go right by it, and and it's beautiful, very beautiful. So across the street from there, we're going to do kind of the polar opposite. So this is Jamestown 1607. And this is your least expensive opportunity to get into the Jamestown area. So these are townhomes, and there's about 175 of them, and they're going to range from 1,160 square feet to about 1,600 square feet. Now, a lot of these, because they started building them in the 70s and the 80s, some of them are fixer-uppers, and those you can get in the high 100. So like 180, 190, you can be in one that needs updating. And ones that have been really updated, those we're starting to see sell for kind of the mid 200s. So you're looking at anything from a 2-bed, 1.5 bath to a 3-bed, 2.5 bath. And I will say that there are a lot of rentals in this community. So we have a lot of renters in here. So that's just something to know. Maybe if you're looking for an investment property, this could be a good place too. Now, what you're going to see here is that it doesn't look like it has direct access to the trail. However, if you come here off the trail, there's a field here, and there's actually, you can't see it on here, but there's a fence line here. And then you're going to be able to, I think it's this one right here. There is a little cut through the woods, and then you really just kind of have to walk across a field. And if you walk across a field, it'll connect you to the back end of Church on the Main, which I mentioned earlier, and you'll be able to access the trails. So really, for anybody who's looking for their most affordable option in Jamestown, the Jamestown 1607 townhouse community is going to be it. And then you come over here, and you're going to have the neighborhood of Foxfield. So Foxfield is a townhouse community that, again, is one of these little tucked away sort of neighborhoods. It's really small, 45 homes built in the late 90s, and they're going to be 1,400 to 2,100 square feet. Now, the big thing that you get here is you're going to get first floor master bedrooms. So most of these have a first floor master. So if you're looking for a small townhome or reasonably sized townhome that's in a great spot, that you can get that first floor master, that's going to be it. And currently these are selling kind of in the mid 300s, and it's June 2024. So of course that is always subject to change, but there you go. So Foxfield. I always want to call this neighborhood Fairchase because that's the main street here, but it is called Foxfield. Now, that is going to bring us to the Pointe at Jamestown. I love this neighborhood. So, few things we've got going on. I fell in love with this neighborhood when I was going through here one day showing homes, and I saw that the church on the main was the access point to the trails. So I was like, oh my gosh, you get to walk through this phenomenal historic site to get on these trails. I'm like, this is amazing. So that was one of the things where I always knew I wanted to live in the area when I came to the Pointe. And so it's about 200 homes built between 1998 and 2014. And you can get a smaller starter home as small as 1,300 square feet here. And then they go up to about 3,700 square feet. So I know that a couple of these guys back here are pretty big. I see those guys from the trail pretty often. And but you might be looking anywhere from about 400,000 to 550,000 in this neighborhood right now. And I think really just the biggest thing for them is, it's a really nice neighborhood, just really nice and quiet, but your direct access. And then this is just a big field. So people will come here and, they'll go out. There's right now there's soccer nets set up, but people go out there and play baseball. There's huge fields here, tons of room to go play other pickup sports games and stuff like that. So a great place for kids. And there's direct access to the trail here too. You don't see it here, but there's a trail that goes straight here across. So if you're over here, you don't have to walk down to the church on the main. You can access it straight here as well. So pretty cool. So that is the Pointe at Jamestown. Now, I am going to go up here real quick, and we've got Sandy Bay Road, and this is Chancos Grant. So really, you might even look at it as ironbound, because this is ironbound, and then it comes straight across. So Chancos Grant. So I'm a big fan of Chancos Grant because this is a great opportunity for a little bit more entry-level opportunities. So it's about 120 homes currently. There is potentially going to be another development going in right here. Hopefully this doesn't happen. What they want to do is cram in about 50 houses on 10 acres right here. And, it would come straight through here between these two houses, and it would go right there. But right now, you're looking about 120 homes, and they're 1,000 to 2,300 square feet. So again, this is a bunch of ranchers. So if you're looking for something that's mostly first floor living, if you don't want to pay prices like the Landfall, you can be in this neighborhood around 350, 400,000. And there's going to be just that mix of the first 1-story and 2-story homes. So really great spot for anybody who's looking for something that's going to be a little bit easier, because a lot of what we're going to see from this point forward, including even just like the Pointe at Jamestown that we just saw, is mostly 2-story homes. So a lot of the area here is 2-story, and Chancos Grant gives you an opportunity for a little bit of variety there. And then, of course, you come straight here onto the trail right here, and you are on the Powhatan Creek Trail, and you can be at the elementary school in 2 minutes, or you can come over across the bridge and head down the trails and keep going. So really gives you this awesome opportunity to go for a nice long run or bike ride. So pretty cool. All right, now we are going to get to my neighborhood. So this is St. George's Hundred right here. And the big thing that everybody, they started building St. George's Hundred in like 1974, and they started up at the front of the street, and they just kept working their way back until around 2000. So you kind of have the older part of the neighborhood, as it's called, and then the newer section. And so this neighborhood has an optional HOA. For those who it's optional for, it's like $65 a year. So it's very small optional HOA. And then a group of homes that include these guys in the stretch here from about here to here have a mandatory HOA. So very, very small HOA. But really, you're looking at a lot of, two-story homes. There's about 240 homes in the neighborhood, and they start at around 1,300 square feet. So there are some smaller ranchers in the front half of the neighborhood, and then they kind of get further back and they get bigger, and you're looking at homes up to around 3,100 square feet. And, you could pay anywhere in here for, around 400 up to, the low to mid fives. So depending on what you get and if you're in one of the newer homes, but really cool. A lot of the homes here have direct access to the trail system. A lot of these homes here back right up to the Powhatan Creek Trail. So really neat how many there are. And there's public access right here. So everyone else in the neighborhood can walk and just go straight through here. And there's a little trail access right here down at the Pointe, and then another one here. And you're just, it makes it really cool. So it's a really fun place to live and just have access to the Powhatan Creek or the Greensprings Trails super easily, and then get out to the Virginia Capitol Trail. So that's St. George's. And then this is Jamestown Hundred. Jamestown Hundred, going to be pretty... has a little bit more of the feel of kind of the Pointe, where homes here are a little closer together. I think you can really just see it. The great thing about this neighborhood is this is the high school. So this is Jamestown High. So one of the great things about living in the area is you can take the trails to the elementary school this way, or you can take the trails to the high school this way. So here at Jamestown Hundred, these homes are between 2,000 and 3,600 square feet. And right now they're selling between 400 and 600,000. Little newer, built between 2001 and 2007. And I mean, really, like when people come into the high school, they're here, and this is the entrance to the neighborhood. So you really have immediate access to the high school. One thing that you'll see down here is if you go into the high school, down at the end here, there is a parking lot, and this parking lot provides immediate access to the trail. So if you don't buy a home that's right here, but you still want access to the trail, all you have to do is drive to the high school, and it's right here. So really cool, puts you right on the Greensprings Trail. There is another access point here that is paved, and this is paved, and it'll take you across a bridge here and put you right on the Capitol Trail. So kind of nice little offshoot there, give you access, and you got all the ball fields and everything here. So that's one of the cool things. You can have a little kid and walk them to school one direction and bring them to elementary school, and then when they're older, they probably won't want you to go with them anymore, but you can bring them. They can go to high school taking the trails. So you got Jamestown Hundred there. So pretty great over there. All right. So we're going to work our way back over down. This is Greensprings Road. And this is really pretty because this is all cornfields and farmland, and it's pretty special. And down here, you've got these two kind of small streets here. And this is Drummons Field. So Drummons Field, 75 homes. And most of these are kind of normal homes, kind of like what you'd see in, St. George's Hundred. Nice size lots here, as you can see, backs up to the farm right here. And then, but this is our first opportunity for waterfront. So now you can see some waterfront mansions down this way. So normal houses, 2,000 to 3,600 square feet. And then you can get down to the water where you can get up to 9,000 square feet. So it's a big difference. So when you're looking at this neighborhood, you might be looking for just a nice normal home, or if you are ready to go big and get here on the water, you certainly can. And they really are even just finishing construction on one right now, or they're I don't know, maybe 3/4 of the way through construction. And then they started building these in the 80s. So yeah, I mean, the waterfront, you could spend $1 million to $4 million depending on what you buy. So yeah. So pretty neat neighborhood there. And that's going to bring us over to Fernbrook. So Fernbrook, great neighborhood. It's about 100 homes, high 400s to mid 500s right now, 1,900 square feet to 4,360, but most are between about 2,000 and 3,000. And these were built between 1996 and 2004. Now, you might be saying, Dave, I don't see direct access to the trails there. You are correct. But right here, I think it is, it's just about right here, you basically come out of the street and there's a cut-through trail. It doesn't show on this, but there is a cut-through trail right here that is designed, and it puts you right on the Capitol Trail. So one of the neat things is we have a friend, a past client, whose grandson the grandparents live in this neighborhood, and the grandson comes over and he will ride his bike. His dad will take him across the street, his grandpa will take him across the street on the trail, and they'll ride their bike right to our house. So very neat that they're able to do that. It really does connect this neighborhood to the rest of the area. So that brings us to First Colony. So First Colony, very cool. As you're going to see, a whole bunch of waterfront in First Colony. One of the larger waterfront options in homes with the most number of waterfront homes in Williamsburg. And then you have the lake as well. I pronounce this Lake Paspahe. No one has ever corrected me, so I don't know if that's right, but I've never heard someone say it differently. So if you know any different, please let me know. But First Colony is a much larger neighborhood. It's 300 homes, but you can go from 1,200 square feet to nearly 7,000 square feet in this neighborhood. And they started building this neighborhood. So this is one of the first neighborhoods built in the area. Started building it in the 1960s. So, and they're still finishing up some construction today. So I think, we just had a few finished ups and there may be a few lots left. So, but if you want to be on the lake here, so when you're on the water, just know if you're going to be on the water, you're going to be $1 million plus just about anywhere. But on the lake, you might be more like 650 to 850, depending on what you're looking at. So obviously the lake doesn't give you that direct access to big water, but it is beautiful, and you can, get out on a canoe and go fishing. And it is, look how big a neighborhood it is. It really wraps around. And this is where you're going to have your direct access to the Virginia Capitol Trail. So at the main entrance, you're going to get on the Capitol Trail, or you can go out the side entrance and you can still access that same cut through that the people here in Fernbrook use. And so you just have to kind of get on Greensprings Road. The one thing I'll say about Greensprings Road, it is narrow. Cars drive at the speed limit's 45 and cars go 45, 47 on it, something like that. People don't really speed on it. It just naturally has a higher speed limit. So you just need to be cautious the more time you spend right on Greensprings Road. Ideally, you get off and cut across as quickly as possible. Or, if you're on a bike and you're going fast, loop around. So this is another great neighborhood. It's just broken down into some sections. It has an optional HOA with a pool and some other amenities. So really great opportunity to be down here, and especially if you want to get on the water. Very, very cool opportunity. So that is going to bring us to, let's do Berkeleys Green. So Berkeleys Green is 276 homes. And what I think this neighborhood is known for the most is its amenities. It has the coolest basketball court in the area. It has tennis courts. It has a beautiful pool. I think Berkeleys Green has the best amenities by far in this, out of all the neighborhoods that we're talking about today. And I am very jealous. We don't have a pool. Many of these neighborhoods don't have a pool. Berkeleys Green has a wonderful one, but the neighborhood is great. It's really great. So you can find anything in here from a 1,500 square foot rancher, though there aren't very many ranch style homes, to a 3,200 square foot home. And these were all built in the late 80s and 90s. And currently they're selling for about $425 to $550. But I would say of all the neighborhoods, Berkeleys Green seems to be really on the rise. I do think the amenities play a big role in that. And this is zoned for Matoka Elementary. And that can be a big plus for some people. So a lot of the other ones are Clara Byrd Baker, which is a phenomenal school as well. So I think, again, that's another thing that people really like about this region is the school system's really good too. So everybody is pretty on board with that. But yeah, Berkeleys Green, really lovely, beautiful neighborhood. And it has a cut through to get to the trail right here, there's a path that comes up here and puts you on the Capitol Trail. So that's its direct access. And of course, these folks can be here as well. So, yeah, and then when you're in these neighborhoods that we're talking about right now, I mentioned Spoken Art, and you're really right out the back door and at one of my favorite little places. So really cool how close they are. Come right out here and you're there. So very, very neat spot to be in. And that'll take us across the street to this little neighborhood here is called Deer Run. And as you can see, it has direct access, has its own little trail. And I love where it is because it's right at that bridge that cuts straight across the marsh. So if you are looking to be on a trail in a spot where you get a ton of nature activity, this is the spot to be in, because this whole spot, this is where there are the owls that are here and over here. And you can really be right here in the nature. The highest level of bird watchers and everything is right here. So if you're into deer, if you like Deer Run, but 34 homes, very small neighborhood, 1,500 to 2,500 square feet, currently selling for between 400 and 500K, built in the late 90s, but cool little neighborhood right there. Next door to that, we have Fieldcrest. Fieldcrest is going to be a little higher end in portion. So it's about 80 homes, but most of them are, 2,000 to 4,500 square feet. So you're going to see some really, really pretty homes in this neighborhood. Does have some nice amenities, has a pool back this way. But for the larger homes in here, you're looking at the 600 and 700,000. So I would put this neighborhood in terms of pricing between like Berkeleys Green and St. George's Hundred and most of these and put it but below Landfall. So you're still going to get some good size houses, but you're not going to quite be at those high Landfall prices or Governor's Land, which we'll talk about in a minute. But you're going to get kind of that little bit higher sort of feel here in Fieldcrest, and of course right out onto the trail and onto some really great spots and straight across to the high school if you want to go there. So cool neighborhood. All right. Now, I do want to mention one other neighborhood that doesn't necessarily have direct access, but I feel like the neighborhoods we're talking about are all in pretty high price points. So I want to make sure people know there's some other options out there. I did mention the other two townhome communities. So this is another townhome community called Fairway Villas. It's 165 homes, and you're looking at about 1,162 square feet to 1,969 square feet. So these are all very modestly sized homes, and they're built between 1998 and 2004. But currently they're selling in the high twos, low threes. So for Williamsburg, this is very, very affordable. These are, there's a walking trail that goes around it, but also all you really need to do is kind of pop out and get across the street, and you can jump on right here at the high school. So I felt like it was close enough to for the video, because you definitely don't need to get into a car as long as you can walk or bike right on over. So it does have a pool back here, and it has a little playground right here in the middle. So it's a great little neighborhood, and it's just the price point makes it much more accessible to a lot of people. And, and that's where affordability ends, because we have covered everything. Fieldcrest, Berkeleys Green, we got into First Colony, which is all of this. And then that's going to bring us to Governor's Land. Now, we haven't done a full video on Governor's Land yet, but we will. So all you really need to know about Governor's Land is that this is one of the premier luxury neighborhoods in all of Hampton Roads, and in particular, Williamsburg. It is a golf course community. There is a gorgeous marina here. It's about 800 homes. The starting price in here, if you can get in here for 700, you did amazing. Most of the homes here are going to be $1 million plus. They are, going to range from about 2,300 square feet to, there's a home in here that's 16,000 square feet. So you're really going to run into just about everything in between. Most are between 3,000 and 8,000 square feet. I know that's a pretty big range, but really big, beautiful homes. And here's the big kicker on this one. There is a $40,000 buy-in into the neighborhood. You must become a country club member, and there is a $758 a month HOA. So listen, this is not for people who are on a tight budget. If you are looking for luxury, if you are a golfer, if you are looking for a much more exclusive neighborhood, Governor's Land is the place for you. So look out for a much longer video on Governor's Land in the future. But yeah, this is it, guys. And of course, they have their access. You come right out the road, and the Capitol Trail goes straight through. So Governor's Land isn't going to be walkable really to the other trails over here, the Greensprings Trails, but you can always get on a bike and you can go do your own thing. And there's tons of other paths in there on their own too. But that's going to be it, guys. This is it. It really is one of my favorite. I mean, it's the biggest reason why I wanted to move to this part of Williamsburg. I walk my dogs every day. We are on these trails every evening, every weekend. We do a longer hike. We go to spoken art, we ride our bikes to Billsburg Brewery down here. We sit by the marina. I play cornhole here. We hang out with my friends. This is really a special area. So if you are active, if you want to be out in nature, if you want to be able to get on trails, get on your bike, if you want to expose your children to that kind of lifestyle, this is a great place to do it. I mean, the number of times you'll go out here and just be families on their, Saturday, Sunday morning walk, going and enjoying nature together. Everybody is so friendly. Most of the dogs are super nice, but people are really respectful. They keep it very clean. And I think it really is a really special aspect of Williamsburg and all of Hampton Roads, because I don't know anywhere else, with the exception of maybe living right on Nolan Trail in Newport News, but that doesn't necessarily connect the neighborhoods. And I think that's what's so great about it, is it provides a connectivity between all the neighborhoods. So we really do feel like one community. And you'll be on the trail and you'll start talking somebody up and they'll say, "Oh, where do you live?" "Oh, I live in Fieldcrest. I just got a puppy and we're walking them down here." And, "Oh, great. We've got our 2 dogs." And you start talking to them there, and you just catch people, "Oh, hey, what are you looking at?" And they'll just, "Oh, there's a heron way out there in the distance. You can see it." Or, "Oh, there were 2 owls here a minute ago and we're trying to see if we can find them again." And you just get these great conversations and you make friends with your neighbors, and it's not something that's typical for the region. So really special place. I hope you like it. That's the housing. Again, I'll put a link in the description for what's available whenever you watch the video. And if you have any questions, of course, let me know on those. But I think we've covered just about all of it, and that's a good place where we can kind of wrap up today's video. Thank you so much for watching today's video. This really is a special place to live. So I hope you like the video. I hope you like the trails. There really isn't anything else like this around. So again, just a special, wonderful place to live. If you want to look at housing that may be available no matter when you watch this video, go down into the description. I'll have links to homes for sale in this area. You can just click on those and it'll take you right to see whatever is actively available at this time. Then, of course, I am here and would love to help you out with your move to the Jamestown area. So give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email when you're ready to get started. In the meantime, don't forget to like this video, share it with anyone else you know who may be making a move to Williamsburg, and then subscribe to this channel. Again, my name is David Tortellini. I'm with eXp Realty. Thanks so much for watching.